So when I find myself in top De La Riva guard, there are two things that I need to consider right away: my front leg and my back leg. So he's got this strong De La Riva hook on my lead leg, and I need to consider the angle of my foot, my knee, and my hip. Everything should be turning out and pressuring in. But I also need to consider what's going on with this foot back here. It's really important for me to start beating his De La Riva hook in the front before I start pulling this foot over my hip, because with some good De La Riva guard players, if I start pulling up on the hip first, it can actually spiral them into a better angle. So my hand is going to come to the shin, near my leg, fingers facing out, and I'm going to push down as I pressure in and rotate toward the outside. Once I feel the hook start to fail, I'm immediately going to pull his foot over my hip, and my hips are going to come forward. So I go from here to here. You'll notice I'm very aggressive with my forward pressure. My hips are pressing forward, my knee is cutting down toward the mat, and then I anchor to him with the collar grip right away. Once I have the anchor with the collar grip, I'm going to take my hand off his ankle and I'm going to swim inside, making sure my elbow stays very tight. I'm going to hike his leg up onto my shoulder. This thumb is going to find the inside of the collar. Now I've got two grips on his collar, my elbows are closed, and I'm starting to pressure in. That's when my bottom hand comes off the collar. It's going to go below his knee to the mat, and I'm going to use that as a point to sprawl back and free my right leg from his grip. Do this. So when I get to my sprawl position, you'll see that all my weight is driving into my left shoulder, and my left elbow is closed very tight. If my left elbow flares out, he will push, he will hip escape, and he'll start to move out of position. So with all this pressure, my right hand is going to find the side of his pants, and I'm going to bend him up, and I'm going to close my right elbow. At the same time I'm doing that, you'll see my left knee try to find his armpit, and I'm going to start moving around to a more perpendicular angle. Another very important detail from here is the position of my ear in relation to my shoulder. If I leave a gap here, a mobile guard player will circle their foot back inside, and he'll start to play guard and recompose. So it's very important to remind myself, I look in that direction, pinching my ear to my shoulder. That pins the leg. So as I try to move more perpendicular into the pass, it's very common that the person on the bottom will use their right hand to frame my hip and prevent me from moving around. This can be tough, so what I'm going to do is use my left knee. I'm going to scrape it across his stomach, up onto his chest, over his shoulder, and finally I'm going to pin down his bicep with my shin. So it looks like this. Once you have this arm pinned, it's very difficult for the person on the bottom to go anywhere. Some other key details in the back: my right foot bases on the mat, and I slide my right knee under his tailbone, creating a kickstand. So if for some reason I need to, I can use my right hand for something else. So with his bicep pinned, with my kickstand created, and a good pant grip, I can start bending him up more and more and moving more and more perpendicular. This is the point in the technique you need to be extremely patient with your pressure. This could take a minute to pass, and that's okay. So once I move as perpendicular as I possibly can, I get as low as I possibly can, I'm going to lose my collar grip, relying on my kickstand and my rear pant grip to stabilize his hip in the air. I'm going to find a very deep crossface. I'm going to grab the fabric on his shoulder, and then I'm going to drop low and steamroll his leg across his body, never moving my head around the leg. This is incorrect. I want to move the leg around my head with forward shoulder pressure.